on this March 18th, 2025 at 6 p.m. We'd like to say that our Chairman Hamley is sick, and we asking you for your prayers for he have a speedy recovery. At this time, we'll call the meeting to order. If one can stand with, and we have the invocation. That's the invocation with as Councilman Cook, the leader and the president of the Legion of the United States flag. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. I pray for our federal and state and local government. Our prayers goes out to the people around in Old Reed County. Those this past week that lost lives from the storm and the tornadoes, over 40 deaths. We ask you to be with them. Also, our prayers go out to Lois Rodney, a family, as she was a public service over 61 years as a probate judge in Chester County. Again, Lord, we just thank you and ask you to be with us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Ms. Bond.
Nard Hamby, Charles Jennings,
Present.
Chuck Cook,
Present.
Jackie Brown,
Present.
David Marr,
Present.
G.P. Callison,
Present.
James Hipp,
Present.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. At this time, we have approval of the minutes. These minutes are February the 18th and March the 12th of 2025 minutes.
So moved.
Second.
The motion and second, any discussion on the correction in the minutes? Not in all in favor, nobody right in. Thank you. Speaker, Chief Mike Barron, McCormick Fire Department. Good evening.
before you
for
leave.
your public service as well, and all the fire chief and what y'all do throughout this county. We appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
before he leaves the podium, I had a question. The computer program you were talking about, it is a module in the program that we currently have, or is it a separate system? Okay.
EMS.
Uh-huh. Right. Doing the fireplace? To all the fire departments. For the reporting piece.
Okay.
Mr.
Anyone
Chairman,
else? Councilman Cook.
just two quick comments. First, I would like to thank Chief Barron for coming and placing these issues before us for our information and consideration. We certainly will do everything in our power to do what is necessary to improve fire protection services in the county. The second thing I want to say is that it's very refreshing, and I thank you for bringing the fire chief's unanimous voice to the council. This is something that we've not seen in quite a while. So, thank you very much, and thank you to your fellow fire chiefs for reaching a consensus on these issues and bringing them to our attention.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Steve. Well, okay, well, thank you for your service, thank you for the notice and thing, but, not trying to pass the buck, but you talking to the county. Just talk to the town. We don't have jurisdiction over the town. Yeah, everybody aware. I'm saying. Need to talk to, do that. They probably they could give you the answer that you're looking for.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I just echo your comments with respect to jurisdiction, which is a very important issue. Obviously, the county has its own issues with dilapidated and rundown buildings. Fortunately, in most cases, ours are a little less evident than those in the town of McCormick, because the town obviously is a place to gather, where people come together, and so it's a lot more observable. But we do have our own situations, and it's been an extremely difficult issue to deal with, both from a legal standpoint and from a financial standpoint. And I, for one, am certainly willing to work with anyone, whether it's the town or the county at large, in terms of putting together some solutions to these issues. And if it takes a joint town-county commission in order to sit down and consider some of these issues, then I'm all in favor of it.
Any other councilman? Okay, thank you. Mr. Ford. Public comments.
Mark Hopen.
Okay, thank you.
That's you. Frankie Walker.
decision item is ordinance 24-08. Ordinance authorizing pursuant of the Title 12, Chapter 44 of the Code of Laws of South Carolina, 1976, as amended the execution and deliver fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes agreement by and between McCormick County, South Carolina, and Deerfield Solar LLC Company, formerly known to the County Air Project, Buck. South Carolina limit liability to lieu of valor tax incentive and certain special source revenue credit for the benefit of a project in the county. The enlargement of the boundaries of an industrial park previously created by Abbeville County to include certain property located in McCormick County, now or to be hereafter owned and operated by Deerfield Solar or one or more companies related thereunto, and other related matters. Council, this is our second reading. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is second. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman. I just have a few comments. I'm gonna run through the ordinance, and Mark, bear with me. I just wanted to point out that as of, I think, 4 o'clock this afternoon, this had not been posted to the county's website. Is there anything at all that is not public in this document that you don't have a problem discussing? Okay, great. On page 2 of the ordinance, Mr. Callison, there is a typo in the listing of the tax map numbers in the whereas. That first tax map number is missing a 0. In terms, it should be 220-00 rather than just 10. I tried to go on to the county's GIS, and I entered that number, and it said not known or unavailable. And I finally found out in other parts of the document that it needs an additional 0, so that would need to be amended. A question with respect to when we talk about the park agreement. Both of the properties on these tax map numbers are both privately owned at the present time. Is it possible to find out what the boundaries of the park are? Are there any definite boundaries, or is this simply a construct that we put together with Abbeville in order to do that? Yes, that'd be great. Are there any existing properties there yet? But they're not contiguous. So you could have part of them in Abbeville and part of them in McCormick. Okay. Okay. I'm a little confused in here in different parts of the agreement as to whether or not the, the phase termination date is 39 years, or whether or not we will extend that by an additional 10 years, or whether or not it was 30 years and we're extending it by an additional 10 years to 40. Okay. It was just a little confusing, and because as you read through parts of this, some of it say 39, some of it say 40, others say 30. So I presume that's going to be worked out in the final version. On sections.
Typically, it's 30 years, and then you can extend it 10 years for a total of 40 years, max.
Okay.
But that does have to, and you're right, on some of these, I saw a couple of typos myself and some blanks, that's got to be filled in.
Okay, okay. On section 6 of the draft ordinance, further acts, I presume with this that once county council signs off on this, essentially it allows the county administrator, other county staff, county attorney, along with any designees or agents who any of these officials deem necessary and proper in the name of and on behalf of the county to take whatever further actions and enter into whatever further agreements that may be required. Now, I'm a little leery of giving undesignated, unnamed, unidentified people that kind of power. I'm not going to make an amendment at this present time, but I would feel a lot more comfortable if there was something in there that would at least give council the authority to review and approve anything that constitutes a material change to the agreement. So if you're providing extensions or changing any of the allowances or credits, or doing anything else that would have a material impact on or the length of the application of this or county revenues, I would certainly hope that we could have something in there that you would have to come back to council with that. Let me see if I go to the table in the actual draft contract. The projected investment is $187 million. Okay, but in order to trigger the SSRC, which is item 3 in that table, if my understanding is correct from reading this, as long as the company has made a $45 million investment during the first 5 years, then that tax credit would then apply. And I'm trying to understand when it says 70% of the fee in lieu of taxes payment. If you take whatever that might be in terms of the investment that they've made that we've assessed, and then you figure the fee in lieu of taxes on that, then if they have met that minimum, are we actually deducting 70% of that total, or are we getting 70% of that total? We're deducting 70% of that total. So actually, if they meet their obligations, then the county would only be receiving 30% of the fee in lieu of taxes. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Okay, we've answered that one. Most of these are about most of these issues in here are about issues that are already raised. In section 3.10, there, at the end of that paragraph on page 12, it says, notwithstanding the foregoing, the company acknowledges and agrees the county is subject to the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act, and as a result, and then it's blank. And then there's a little note over there that we have to provide the remainder of that. Can you give us some indication of what the remainder of that is all about?
If the attorney that wrote it was not in California, I probably could. But that's one of the things that we'll be discussing in the next week or so to get the final thoughts on that. But
That's a provision that we've included on several documents since we're dealing with public agencies. Even if a document has a confidentiality agreement in it, that does not apply to the counties because we're subject to the Freedom of Information Act. And I think this provision is just stating that. I've used that same provision when I've had litigation, and the opposite side has said, well, we need a confidentiality agreement. I said, fine, but, you know, we don't keep things confidential. It's
Okay.
public.
Okay.
And I think that's exactly what this addressing.
Okay.
We'll need to clean that language up
Yeah.
because.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's essential so that we're not implying that anybody's exempt from the Freedom of Information Act in terms of things that are discussed. Okay, we talked about that. Okay. Those are my questions.
Okay.
Thank you very
Anyone
much.
else? Nah. All in favor of second reading? Nobody right hand? Yeah. Item number, excuse me, item number 2, resolution 10-24, Fair Housing Resolution recognizing April as Fair Housing Month. Council consider passing this resolution. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second. Second.
Oh, second.
Okay, thank you. Any question? Comments? All in favor? Nobody right hand. Item number 3, council to consider appointing Vivian Atlanta to the McCormick County Board of Assessment Appeals. The motion.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is second. Any discussion? All in favor? Nobody right hand. Thank you. Down to committee reports. Councilwoman Brown.
Mr. Chairman, we've attended several events, some out at the new Activity Center. Been to Columbia to represent at the State House for the Legislative Advocacy Day. Also attended the South Carolina Rural Summit. I think that's all I have to report right now.
Thank you. Councilman Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It was a excuse me. It was a very busy month. I also attended the Legislative Connect meeting in Columbia back in February, and we had the opportunity to meet with some of the members of our legislative delegation and had some interesting discussions with them, particularly about a bill that is now pending in the legislature that would make counties and cooperative electrics and others whole for the money that they had to pay out in matching funds for assistance from FEMA. Most of it, FEMA covered 75% of their costs, but the counties and co-ops sometimes had to pick up 25% of that costs. And in a lot of cases, that 25% match based on the costs that were accrued in some counties was a very stiff price to pay. So the legislature, there is a bill pending in the legislature that would pick up that cost under a proviso agreement. Now, I've looked at the language of that, and frankly, I can't understand it, because basically what it says is that the legislature would provide a match to the FEMA allocation. But we're not really sure what that means, and the legislators that I've talked to are not sure what that means. So we're gonna have to wait and see. But hopefully we'll get some relief from the legislature with respect to the matching funds that we may have to put up to do a lot of the contracts that we did for cleanup. I was in on a National Association of Counties webinar back in February on the Trump transition, and there was a discussion. Apparently there is a proposal that is pending that would eliminate the tax exemption for the sale of municipal bonds. And the estimate is that if that exemption is eliminated, it would raise the cost of municipal and presumably county borrowing by about 2% per annum. And if you spread that out over 10 or 20 years, depending upon how long the maturity is for those bonds, it would be a significant increase. So that's something that would have a significant impact on county if it passed. I did attend the election board meeting in February, and Mr. Hipp and I both attended the Community Development Block Grant plan hearing that was held here in county chambers on February the 25th. We had some interesting discussions with the COG representative who came, and there was a presentation from the Wellington On the Way people who are trying to seek a grant for some improvements that they want to make. I had the opportunity during February and early March to follow up with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers with respect to the status of the SLV Marina. As many of you know, the agreement between the current proprietor of the marina and the Corps expired in October. That has been continued on a month-to-month basis. But I now understand that the Corps is going to extend that agreement. Don't know for how long, and the local Corps people don't know either. But at the very minimum, we're fairly assured that the SLV Marina will remain in the county rather than leaving the county and being towed over to Lincolnton County or elsewhere. Did attend the John Delahow fundraiser that was held on the 1st of March. Attended the South Carolina Rural Caucus with Jackie and Charles. We had some very interesting discussions there. One of the vendors who made a presentation, I collected a business card and I provided that to Tim Cowan at the governor's school. They do training with respect to drone training and certification, and they are doing a lot of training with respect to crop spraying and crop inspection, which they can do crop spraying in a fraction of the time that it can be done by hand if you're using a drone. So they're doing that kind of training, and whether or not John Delahow wants to do that training or acquire it by contract, I think it would be a golden opportunity for them to be turning out people who are drone certified to do that kind of work. I think it would really help in agricultural education and implementation. Council had a workshop at John Delahowe on the 5th of March. I think we had some very interesting discussions, and I hope we'll have some things will come out of that fairly quickly. Attended the County Planning Commission, and Barbara Hinkle's lecture on the Long Cane Massacre. If those of you who haven't are not familiar with that, she does have a presentation and some handouts, and you can obtain that through the Historical Commission. Excuse me. Did attend the town council meeting, and there was an update by Mayor Smith with respect to the streetscaping project. East Augusta Street will be closed for paving for at least a couple of weeks. When they get to that point, the exact dates should be announced fairly quickly. But if you're going to park or need to go in that area, you can park in that unpaved area that will be paved during this process that is back of the fire department right now. So there will be some available parking, although it'll be a little inconvenient. There was a special call council meeting on the 12th, and we authorized the administrator to pursue some water and sewer grants from the Regional Infrastructure Authority and a community development block grant through the Council of Governments. Had a meeting with Chad Stone and the Little River Electric Co-op people. There is an issue that is of concern to a lot of people in the village with respect to the lack of a street light at US 378 Huguenot Parkway. That is a very dark intersection. It is surrounded by public or undeveloped land, and a lot of people have come very close to having accidents there. The problem is nobody wants to take responsibility for paying for it, not only the investment costs, but also the cost of operation. That was brought up at a town hall meeting by Mark Ficacelli, who is with us this evening. I promised to draft a petition that Mark and some of his neighbors could take around to try to get some funding for this from our local office of SCDOT. But when I got into it, I discovered that I wasn't prepared to know what to ask for or exactly who to ask for it from. So I've been doing some more research on that. I had a very interesting conversation with Chad Stone, who's the new director at LRAC. We came up with a number of options, and so I'll be pursuing those. But Mark, I haven't forgot the agreement that we made at the town hall meeting. And I attended the SLV Public Affairs Committee meeting yesterday. In addition to the meeting schedule and trying to pass along a lot of the information that I've gleaned from all of this, I did write a fairly lengthy report to our legislative delegation on things that I had picked up at the Rural Caucus and the Legislative Connect sessions. But I've been working on some issue papers. I've produced 7 so far that hopefully would address and provide a framework for implementing a number of the issues and deadlines that we have that are coming up fairly quickly. We have an awful lot of things that are coming up this spring, and we need to move on those as expeditiously as possible. So I've tried to give us a head start on putting together some plans to do that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Councilman.
No county report at this time.
Well, welcome back home.
Thank
Good. You know, for taking all of us, service and all. Thank you. We had the opportunity to to attend most of the meetings that have been already stated here tonight. We like to say rural summer is really helping us and real productive when we go to the meeting, have a chance also to go over to the general assembly at the State House and talk to our delegation, let them know some of the things that we like to see them doing here, and they are providing service here in McCormick County. We also like to thank Upper Savannah Council of Government that work with McCormick, and they provide over the 900 homes with deliver meals here in McCormick County. And also they working with Piedmont Tech, which they're going to be breaking grounds March 31st on a science building up there. We all invited at 10 a.m. Piedmont Upper Savannah Council Government working on with like before. And also that they help us with the community needs here, assessment here took place here on February the 25th. And also we had the opportunity to go out to the airport to see the work going on out there. They had see two good days last week, Friday and Saturday. The National Guard helping them, and they providing this, and they taking down trees out there, and they leveling up them hills out there, getting it ready for we can put hangers out there. And maybe another couple of years, it'll be up and going 100%. And all that is help with economic growth here in McCormick County when you have that airport. And we just thank Mr. Warner, your staff, and all the job that you're doing with them. Mr. Chairman, Hamney wasn't here tonight, but he do send a list of all the standing committees that he wanted me to pass out for him. What's a hit?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of council, we did file with the Rural Infrastructure Authority the grant request for the water line improvement along South Carolina 7 in the Savannah Lake area. We got that filed yesterday, timely, and they acknowledged timely receipt of the application request. Unfortunately, the evaluation with the Community Development Block Grant has led us to determine that we currently do not fit their requirements for water system improvements, short of having a pretty large grant match. So we have stepped back to reevaluate that. They have another round of funding that comes in August, and at this point, we expect to be able to apply at that time, but we will not be applying for water system improvements for CDBG funds in their March round. And we have received notice that the United States Marine Corps Special Operations Training will be conducted in our county beginning April 21st and lasting through May 9. 160 Marines will grace our county with their training, and we're all excited to have them here.
Yes.
That's all.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. It is to discuss contractor matters and receive legal advice concerning our economic development project, to discuss janitorial and cleaning service, and discuss contractual matter, receive legal advice concerning SLB Windfall Group. Been motion second. Any discussion? All in favor, nobody right hand. Thank you. Thank each and every one for coming out to our council meeting. You still stay